About those Negroes, we previously pointed out that, according to the Webster Dictionary, the word Negro did not refer to a person of African descent until after the year 1555, which means that slaves called Negroes before the year 1555 were not African. This was confirmed by Spanish law, which required Negro slaves shipped to the New World had to have been born in Spain. And remember, these Negroes who were born in Spain were under the curses of Deuteronomy 28 because they chose to follow the old laws of the Talmud instead of the written laws of the Most High Yah.
Oh, hey, okay, everybody, YouTube. Shalom, everybody. Shayla, hallelujah. Yes, the chat is showing up. Shalom, shalom. Okay, y'all was putting some last minute stuff together. Hold on. But y'all good. I can see y'all. It's right here. Let's. Konnichiwa. Shalom, shalom. Joy rising, joy rising. All right. Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. It is the first day of May. May 1st, 2021. May 1st, 2021. Yeah, I said that right. Day 142. Of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, also known as the Old Testament. And of the 3-year consecutive day count, it is day 811. Kenneth, shalom, shalom. Christy, betwabu. Trina, betwabu. All right, beautiful people. Today, we begin Fossilized Customs, y'all. All right. So we'll be in this for the next... how long we spending Legends of the Jews? About 3 months? About 3 months. So probably about the same time because it's about, well, no, it won't be that long because this is only, 367 pages. Yes, only 367 pages. So we won't be there. We won't be reading as long as we did Legends of the Jews. Lavon, shalom, blessings. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and do the Shema. The Shema is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, starting at verse 3. Remember, read the whole chapter for full context and make sure you get all the other things in there that Yahuah says will happen, right, if you keep to his commands. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahuah, the God of our fathers, has promised us in the land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahuah, our God, he is one God, and you shall love Yahuah your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children. And you shall talk of them when you sit in your house and when you walk by the way, when you lie down and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the posts of your house and on your gates. And Yahuah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuah, our God, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if We observe to do all these commandments before Yahuah our God as he has commanded us. Josiah, shalom. Demi, shalom. Tiffany, Sawu, Bona, beautiful lady. All right, y'all. So, look, if you're over on Facebook, and I'll share it in the links today. Look, Hidden Hebrews, they about done with their next little segment. So they gave us like a 30-minute preview of this next one that they're doing. If you're familiar with Benaiah Yisrael, he does a great documentary series on us, Hidden Hebrews. It's probably one of the, like, if I recommend anything to anybody, like for those of us that are waking up, although I have a couple playlists in there, I think he would be the first one that I would recommend. And I have it in my playlist. So if you go to YouTube and click on playlists and you go down everything that you need to know about, I entitled it first, education. Look at all the playlists that say, it's not that many in there. I probably got about 10 playlists in there, but it says education and then it has Hidden Hebrews. Go there because I put all his Hidden Hebrew ones in there and he got documents, references, everything. And he explains it with pictures. The graphics are friggin' awesome. Go there. I'll share the playlist on Facebook, but YouTube, y'all know how to get to the playlist. Just click on it. But I also put it in the description and pin it in the comments today as well for those of you that haven't seen any of his stuff. But I posted the link for the little 30-minute snippet that he shared not too long ago. I think it's earlier this morning. And I'm about done with. Actually, that's what I was listening to. You probably heard YouTube when I came on. That's what was playing in the background. All right, so, but that's that. Also, more Black and brown peoples getting their land back that's been stolen from them during our captivity. I pasted that. I'll post the link over here. Everything I posted in the link section. I post the links in the comments section over here on YouTube so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But I normally post all them links on Facebook because you can see it, just go right to it. But I shared with you to YouTube. I think that was it. Yeah, they got and it was this land, it was a massive land that's in South Africa, right? It has a river on it. They're also giving them their fishing rights back as well. So it shows it's like a 2-minute video that kind of goes over, I think it was like 2 minutes, 2-minute clip. Maybe almost 3 minutes. But anyway, it has that, and then you can actually pull up a couple articles on it as well. So the things that we looking to happen, we seeing it happen all over the world. Just different things. As we go back and think about what happened during the first Exodus and how Yahuah began to restore stuff to them, is happening all over again. I ain't gonna say just like that, but here in our modern day, if you know what you're looking at, it looks the same, right? And you'll know what you're looking for. Look for our people to be coming up, things that we've had a hard time with, or even things being extended to us, everybody passing over us. People are realizing now. Some people just think, oh, well, these people, I'm gonna do this. They don't realize that Yahuah moving on their hearts to begin restoring a lot of the stuff that has been stripped from us during our captivity. Those things, we should be seeing those things being given back to people, to families, inheritances, things that you've been waiting on for years. Things are starting to finally break through. It's like this ceiling has been lifted off of us and things are beginning to happen, so pay attention. And if you can see it, you can begin to look at your life and your family. Okay, what's missing here? Should we be looking for this? Just different things you probably should be focusing on and looking for Yahuah to move in those ways. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and read. Trina, hey girl, hey. We are at 1 Chronicles chapter 8. Benjamin's first son was Bela. The second was Ashbel, the third was Ahara, the fourth was Noha, and the fifth was Rapha. The sons of Bela were Adar, Gera, Abihud, Abishua, Naaman, Ahoa, Gera, Shephupan, and Huram. The sons of Ehud, leaders of the clans living at Geba, were exiled to Manahath. Ehud's sons were Naaman, Ahijah, and Gera. Gera, who led them into exile, was the father of Uzzah and Ahud. After Shahariam divorced his wives, Husham and Bera, he had children in the land of Moab. His wife, Hodesh, gave birth to Jobab, Zeba, Mesha, Malcham, Jeuz, Sakiah, and Mirma. These sons all became the leaders of clans. Shahiram's wife, Husham, had already given birth to Abitub and Elpal. The sons of Elpal were Eber, Misham, Shemet, who built the towns of Ono and Lod and their nearby villages, Beriah and Shema. They were the leaders of the clans living in Ajalon, and they drove out the inhabitants of Gath. Ahio, Shashak, Jeremoth, Zebediah, Arad, Eder, Michael, Ishpa, and Johah were the sons of Beriah. Zebediah, Meshulam, Hizki, Heber, Ishmerai, Isliah, and Jobab were the sons of Elpal. Jachem, Zikri, Zabdi, Elani, Zilithai, Eliel, Adiah, Beriah, Shimrath, and Shimrath were the sons of Shimei. Ishpan, Eber, Eliel, Abdon, Zikri, Hanan, Hananiah, Elam, Anothijah, Ipadiah, and Penuel were the sons of Shashak. Shamsharai, Shahariah, Athaliah, Jarishiah, Elijah, and Zikri were the sons of Jehoram. These were the leaders of the ancestral clans. They were listed in their genealogical records, and they all lived in Jerusalem. Jael, the father of Gibeon, lived in the town of Gibeon. His wife's name was Mecca, and his oldest son was named Abdon. Jael's other sons were Zer, Kish, Baal, Ner, Nadab, Gedor, Ahio, Zechariah, and Mikloth, who was the father of Shimim. Yeah. All these families lived near each other in Jerusalem. Ner was the father of Kish. Kish was the father of Saul. Saul was the father of Jonathan, Malchishua, Abinadab, and Eshbaal. Jonathan was the father of Meribel. Meribel was the father of Micah. Micah was the father of Pithon, Melech, Tariah, and Ahaz. Ahaz was the father of Jada. Jada was the father of Alimeth, Asmaveth, and Zimri. Zimri was the father of Moza. Moza was the father of Benaiah. Benaiah was the father of Rephiah. Rephiah was the father of Elisah. Elisah was the father of Azel. Azel had 6 sons: Azrikam, Bokeru, Ishmael, Shariah, Obadiah, and Hanan. These were the sons of Azel. Azel's brother Eshek had 3 sons. The first was Ulam, the second was Jeush, and the third was Eliphalet. Ulam's sons were almighty warriors and expert archers. They had many sons and grandsons, 150 in all. These were all the descendants of Benjamin. Lindsay, shalom, shalom. 1 Chronicles chapter 9. So all of Israel was listed in the genealogical records of the books of the kings of Israel. The people of Judah were exiled to Babylon because they were unfaithful to Yahuah. So that's what we know. We see it. Every time we get in trouble, we're not listening to what Yahuah said. We're not following the rules of the land. Get kicked out. We get kicked out of daddy's house. Go on over there. You want to act fool? Go and do that somewhere else. But you ain't going to do that in my house, right? The people of Judah were exiled to Babylon because they were unfaithful to Yahuah. The first of the exiles returned to their property. The first of the exiles to return to their property in their former towns were priests, Levites, temple servants, and other Israelites. Some of the people from the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, Ephraim, and Manasseh came and settled in Jerusalem. One family that returned was that of Uthai, son of Ammihud, son of Omri, son of Imri, son of Benai, a descendant of Perez, son of Judah. Others returned from the Shilonite clan, including Asahiah, the oldest, and his sons. From the Zerahite clan, Jehu returned with his relatives. In all, 690 families from the tribe of Judah returned. From the tribe of Benjamin came Salu, son of Meshullam, son of Hodaviah, son of Hasinu, Ibniah, son of Jeroboam. I'm sorry, I'm screwing these names up. Sorry. Ibniah, son of Jeroham, Elah, son of Uzi, son of Mikri, and Meshullam, son of Shephatiah, son of Ruel, son of Ibnijah. These men were all leaders of clans, and they were listed in their genealogical records. In all, 956 families from the tribe of Benjamin returned. Among the priests who returned were Jedediah, Jehoiarib, Jachim, Azariah, son of Hilkiah, son of Meshullam, son of Zadok, son of Meriah, son of Ahitub. Azariah was the chief officer of the house of Yahuah. Other returning priests were Adiah, son of Jeroam, son of Pashur, son of Malchijah, and Masai, son of Adiel, son of Jazerah, son of Meshullam, son of Meshilemith, son of Immer. In all, 1,760 priests returned. They were heads of clans and very able men. They were responsible for ministering at the house of Yahuah. The Levites who returned were Shemaiah, son of Hashub, son of Azrikam, son of Hashabiah, a descendant of Merari, Bakbakar, Harish, Gelal, Mattaniah, son of Micah, son of Zikri, son of Asaph, Obadiah, son of Shemaiah, son of Gelal, son of Jeduthun, and Berechiah, son of Asa, son of Elkanah, who lived in an area of Netophah. The gatekeepers who returned were Shulam, Akub, Talmon, Ahaman, and their relatives. Shalom was the chief gatekeeper. Prior to this time, they were responsible for the king's gate on the east side. These men served as gatekeepers for the camps of the Levites. Shalom was the son of Kor, a descendant of Abiasaph from the clan of Korah. He and his relatives, the Korhites, were responsible for guarding the entrance to the sanctuary, just as their ancestors had guarded the tabernacle in the camp of Yahuah. Phinehas, son of Eleazar, had been in charge of the gatekeepers in earlier times, and Yahuah had been with him. And later, Zechariah, son of Meshilemiah, was responsible for guarding the entrance to the tabernacle. In all, there were 212 gatekeepers in those days, and they were listed according to the genealogy, according to the genealogy in their villages. David and Samuel the seer had appointed their ancestors because they were reliable men. These gatekeepers and their descendants by their divisions were responsible for guarding the entrance to the house of Yahuah when that house was a tent. The gatekeepers were stationed on all four sides, east, west, north, and south. Their relatives in the villages came regularly to share their duties for 7-day periods. The four chief gatekeepers, all Levites, were trusted officials, for they were responsible for the rooms and treasuries at the house of Yahuah. They would spend the night around the house of Yahuah, since it was their duty to guard it and to open the gates every morning. Some of the gatekeepers were assigned to care for the various articles used in worship. They checked them in and out to avoid any loss. Others were responsible for the furnishings, the idols in the sanctuary, and the supplies, such as choice flour, wine, olive oil, frankincense, and spices. But it was the priests who blended the spices. Mattathiah, a Levite and oldest son of Shalom, the Korahite, was entrusted with baking the bread used in the offerings, and some members of the clan of Kohath were in charge of preparing the bread to be set on the table each Sabbath day. The magicians, all prominent Levites, lived at the temple. They were exempt from other responsibilities since they were on duty at all hours. All these men lived in Jerusalem. They were the heads of the Levite families and were listed as prominent leaders in their genealogical records. Jael, the father of Gibeon, lived in the town of Gibeon. His wife's name was Maacah, and his oldest son was named Abdon. Jael's other sons were Zur, Kish, Baal, Ner, Nadab, Gedor, Ahio, Zechariah, and Mikloth. Mikloth was the father of Shemim. All these families lived near each other in Jerusalem. Ner was the father of Kish. Kish was the father of Saul. Saul was the father of Jonathan. Melchishua, Abinadab, and Ishbaal. Jonathan was the father of Meribel. Meribel was the father of Micah. The sons of Micah were Pithom, Melech, Terah, and Ahaz. Ahaz was the father of Jada. This is repeating this line. I know I just read this earlier. Okay. Meribel was the father of Micah. The sons of Micah were Pithon, Melech, Teriah, and Ahaz. Ahaz was the father of Jada. Jada was the father of Alimeth, Asmaveth, and Zimri. Zimri was the father of Mosa. Mosa was the father of Benaiah. Benaiah's son was Rephaiah. Rephaiah's son was Eliasah. Eliasah's son was Azel. Azel had 6 sons whose names were Azrikam, Bokeru, Ishmael, Shariah, Obadiah, and Hanan. These were the sons of Azel. All right, y'all, last chapter for the day. 1 Chronicles chapter 10. Shalom, shalom, Mom. Now the Philistines attacked Israel, and the men of Israel fled before them. Many were slaughtered on the slopes of Mount Gilboa. The Philistines closed in on Saul and his sons, and they killed 3 of his sons, Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malchishua. The fighting grew very fierce around Saul, and the Philistine archers caught up with him and wounded him. Saul groaned to his armor bearer, "Take your sword and kill me before these pagan Philistines come to taunt and torture me." But his armor bearer was afraid and would not do it. So Saul took his own sword and fell on it. When his armor bearer realized that Saul was dead, he fell on his own sword and died. So Saul and his 3 sons died there together, bringing his dynasty to an end. When all the Israelites in Jezreel Valley saw that their army had fled and that Saul and his sons were dead, they abandoned their towns and fled. So the Philistines moved in and occupied their towns. The next day, when the Philistines went out to strip the dead, they found the bodies of Saul and his sons on Mount Gilboa. So they stripped off Saul's armor and cut off his head. Then they proclaimed the good news of Saul's death before their idols and to the people throughout the land of Philistia. They placed his armor in the temple of their gods, and they fastened his head to the temple of Dagon. But when everyone in Jabesh Gilead heard about everything that the Philistines had done to Saul, all their mighty warriors brought back the bodies of Saul and his sons back to Jabesh. Then they buried their bones beneath a great tree at Jabesh, and they fasted for 7 days. So Saul died because he was unfaithful to Yahuah. He failed to obey Yahuah's command, and he even consulted a medium instead of asking Yahuah for guidance. So Yahuah killed him and turned the kingdom over to David, the son of Jesse. All right, y'all. So that is the last chapter for today. And just a quick reminder, we are not to go to mediums, which is anybody who consults the dead when we have a question, a pressing question, any kind of question. You need to know anything. If you can't find it out, we are to go to Yahuah and Yahuah alone, right? Because he is our mighty one. He is our God. We need to know anything. He's the one that can give us the information and correct information, and will not use information to lord over you, so to speak, right? He gonna give you straightforward information. That's something that he can use against you later. All right, y'all. So here we go. Fossilized customs. All right. So for those of you who are new, that I'll give a quick overview. This book was written by Lou White. This is the 12th edition. And Lou White, he's a Caucasian gentleman. But he came out of the church. Yahuah started waking him up too, about all the shenanigans going on in the church, and he began teaching him about all these things. So all of his studies he has condensed. He has quite a few different versions. Well, not versions, but editions. The more information that he researches, and once he vets the information, he updates his book. So I think the when I first heard about it, it was at the 7th edition. Then I finally ordered a copy, but when I ordered it, I found out there was a 9th edition. So I have the 9th edition, which is about this thick in size. And now with all the other information that's coming along, he has a 12th edition, which is probably double the size of the thickness of the 9th edition, right? And so here is going through the proper names, all the different the and because he came from a Christian background and even Catholicism, like half and half, there was a lot of things that he found out, and different things began to add up to him, and just all the mixing of the different religions that is practiced. Mainly he talks about the Christian faith, but he brings in some of the other ones, especially Catholicism, Christianity, and the Islam faith. They are essentially the same thing, almost to the T. They just, for each group of people that they'd invited up and want to pit against each other, they just kind of changed the names of different people, but it's the same thing. It comes from the same place. It all comes from Rome. The Pope is your pappy if you are in any of these religions, and some of the other ones, but the main focus is those three, although he will tie in some of the other ones. Those who worship Buddha, the Krishna, I mean, all these other ones he mentions in here. They literally all come from Rome, but there's a lot of focus on Christianity, Catholicism, and Islam, because it's really almost the same thing. And a lot of people don't realize that until Yahuah begins to open your eyes. So if you don't have your copy, you can go the link that I've been posting it, but I'll begin as long as we're reading this. I'll always have the links for this where you can go online to his website, and a lot of this stuff is on his website. You can go up there if you don't have the money to go purchase a copy. I'll put the Amazon link in there where you can go purchase a copy. I'm not making any money off of any of this stuff. I'm giving y'all the same link where I went and purchased my copy from on Amazon. And it's also, they have some PDF formats of different things, and also YouTube videos. He has a YouTube channel where he does a lot of lectures where he's using a screen. So he'll be showing the screen while he's talking, and he'll show some of the pictures and stuff as he goes through some of this up here. Now, I will say, as he teaches, he's not going to use the name JC, but he's going to tell you the origin and all that stuff, but he will still use Yahusha or Yeshua. But the way he teaches it, and I was kind of stumped on it at first. I'm like, okay, so are you using it like I was using it, like this is Yah, but I stopped doing it because it confuses people. So I just call Yah by his name, Yahuah. My name is Yahuah forever. He said in Exodus. He says it in, I believe it was Isaiah. I had to get that. My name is Yahuah forever. I'll give you a hold. Let me just put that so y'all can see it. My name is Yahuah forever. The scripture, I believe, was Isaiah 44. And it's in Exodus. And he said forever. Okay, but some people call Yahuah by the different attributes of his name, and that's okay too. But in some places in here, he does teach this. He brings some stuff out of the New Testament, but you can also see how they've taken some stuff out of the Old Testament and repeated it in the New Testament. But when he talks about Yahusha or Yeshua, or some people say JC, he's teaching it from the standpoint of him actually teaching the scriptures, not being a God like he was, like people say. That's not how he's teaching it. So, but when we get to those points, based on the information, he hasn't updated that yet. I'm not sure if he knows that. I almost want to say I know he knows it. I'm just waiting for the update just to make sure people are not being confused. Okay, so I think about a week ago, hold on. About a week ago, we read through the table of contents. I'm not going to do that again. So we're just going to start on page 3. If you have this one, we're starting on page 3. And it is the introduction. Belinda Brown. Shalom, Auntie. Okay, introduction. What is this book about? Let me use this. One of these. One of these. It's kind of like to keep my, so I don't double read lines. Okay. Introduction. What is this book about? It's about teachings and traditions, not people. It's about walking in truth. There are 3 stages of truth. First, it is considered ridiculous. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. So all of us we can all agree with that, because when Yahuah started waking us up to what's really been in front of our face, especially revealing to us what Christianity really is, at first, because how you were raised up, if you deny JC, your salvation, you're going to hell, right? It is completely ridiculous. You better get away from here with that. I am not denying my Savior, right? It is violently opposed. Get out of here. Heresy. Then, but something keeps picking at you, like, wait, what? Let me need to. Something ain't right. But they make sense a little bit. So you got to go. You want to look at it, and then third, it is accepted as being self-evident. Once you begin to actually go and do the study for yourself and begin to pull apart some of these lies and uncover the truth, it's like, you know what? Why couldn't we see this before all this time, right? Now, truth is uncovered and you can't unsee it. Okay. Many have been so disturbed by the facts in this book that they have thrown it across the room. Some have jumped up and down on it. Some have thrown it into a dumpster. And a trash collector retrieved it and was awakened. One trash collector called to thank me for writing the book. Some attacked the messenger on the internet, destroying my reputation. One person claims that there were many blunders in this book. The truth may come to you, but you have to receive it. Most people sense the world is off balance. The artificial mask hiding the true origins of our customs will be lifted, and it may be very disturbing to learn the truth. In spite of the pain and shock, you will realize the truth is a treasure, a gift, and an awakening you will be thankful for receiving. It will sober you up. The origins of popular customs have been my lifelong study, and revealing them to others in a way that makes sense is my main goal. I was trained to think by the Jesuit Illuminati, but discern their brainwashing techniques, exercises of Loyola, and the catechetical repetitive echo response methods. They taught me to pray to the dead, kneel in front of various objects of worship, and use rosaries. Prayers to the dead is necromancy, but I did not know it at the time. Their maxims did not seem logical to me, even as a very young child. The end justifies the means sounded tyrannical and cruel. Their programming failed to work on me, but I saw it successfully implemented on others. It had a strong hold on most of my close family. And a lot of us, we can see that as well, especially, and I talk specifically from the Christian background because that's where I come from. You can see the strongholds that it has on your family, and those of your family that are not yet ready to be awakened, they will write you off as they're gonna write you off like she didn't join the cult or something. I don't know what she talking about. She going against what we taught, and you can see it. You know, you do your best to try and wake them up. It's like, well, just when you get a chance, just at least look into it. Don't look into it because that the church has taught you don't go looking for anything. You keep your eyes here. You listen to what I say. Don't go checking none of this because if you do, you're gonna die. You can go to hell, right? And most of us are captured. Okay, I'm gonna keep my eyes straight for. Don't everybody just keep looking for it. Somebody need to come and break your state, right? Listen, their programming failed to work on me, but I saw it successfully implemented on others. It held a strong hold on most of my family. When I asked questions, the Jesuits had prepared unfulfilling answers. They do. And anybody that you talk to about this, you can tell that you don't really see the programming until you come out of the program yourself. And when you go to talk to people, it don't matter if you talk to them, they white, black, Chinese, if they're in the Christianity faith, and I'm just talking, like I said, I'm talking from strictly from Christianity, that's where I came from. When you ask them certain type of questions, and none of these people can know each other. They can be in different parts of the world. They will give you the same exact answers, almost word for word. Whereby you can tell this is classic programming, right? Because you live over here, none of y'all families are connected. Y'all never have come in contact, but yet you're giving me the same answers. Like, y'all all have one teacher, just like the Guild of Prophets. Everybody that's saying the same thing, classic programming, right? You can see it. When you see it, you cannot unsee it. But they can't seem to see it. Okay. When I asked questions, the Jesuits had prepared unfulfilling answers. I wanted to know the answer to why about everything, including why they were doing what they were doing, why they dressed the way they did, and why they trusted in their rituals and echelons of rank. After spending all the years of my youth in this intense brainwashing and programming, I escaped to the U.S. Air Force, breaking the spell, right? And it's not until you go away from all this stuff, or like me, I dropped out of church. It was a time of, it's the best thing I ever did, because when you're sitting in that all the time, it's constantly going into you. They're keeping you a part of the program. And you don't have time to break away to think you're always serving in the church. You want to choir, this and this, and then you got to be here. The pastor's armor bearer, all the youth. They're keeping you inside of it, and you don't have a chance to sit and think. When you are breaking away from that, something is broken where you can't attend them services, reality begins to set in, and you start to think about stuff. Like, you begin to come to your senses, like, wait a minute, what? Why would I do that? That doesn't even make logical sense, right? So something has to come where it breaks your spell. And for him, he joined the Air Force, right? Now you on Uncle Sam time. It's a different type of program, but at least he was able to break away from the church programming and what it does, right? After spending all the years of my youth in this intense brainwashing and programming, I escaped to the Air Force, breaking the spell. The next section is called World Order of the Beast. The Jesuits openly explain how the world system's power structure is organized. Since Babel, the world has been organized in this beast system or order. It is a highly ordered teaching authority, controlling and wielding power over the commoners, whom they refer to as the laity or common people. The dragon gives them this authority and power. We often hear non-professionals referred to as lay people or laity. This term implies there are more informed people who were in control. The Jesuit Illuminati was all around me, but only later did I become aware of their presence and strategies. The only organized teaching authorities they recognize is theirs. All others were evil. Same thing we see in Christianity. This is the only faith. Everybody else is wrong, right? Don't even go. You ain't even got to go looking over there, because all of them worshiping Satan, right? Says the Satan worshiper. Look, theirs was the only means to attain or earn heaven, and the other teaching authorities had to be opposed and totally eliminated. The Jesuits are a military order. This militia is a totalitarian, organized government posing as a religious institution. Its greatest operation is the United Nations. This is a foreign power entrenched on the sovereign soil of the United States. It is a foothold that so far remains unrecognized. The three estates of the world order are the way the dragon controls us: the clergy, nobility, which is the government, and the commoners or laity, the people living out in the sticks, woodland dwellers having quaint superstitions. The Latin term pagus or forest dweller became our modern word pagan. They had a reputation for holding to primitive beliefs, so the term pagus was highly derogatory. This book would change everything with the truth. The ignorance of the pagans, Latin pagus, was exploited in the past, only now they are called lay people, being the ignorant masses. After the printing press was invented in the early 15th century, the media slowly became what is referred to as the fourth estate. Remember, the first three is the clergy, nobility, the commoners, and now we have the fourth estate, the media. We all are very familiar with that and what they do to paint pictures of things that they want the laity or the common people or the ignorant forest dwellers to see, right? It became a powerful authority and attempts to control information. The teaching authority of the clergy is constantly being exposed and challenged by the truth. The collision between truth and tradition is on display every day in the media. The next section is believing mysterious traditions. Much of the information presented here will be new and shocking to most readers. Anything in this book can be easily verified, and I encourage you to do your own research. You will have facts you can prove rather than continue in ignorance and live like a pagan with mysterious traditions and quaint superstitions. Try to be objective and not filter the facts through previous programming you've chosen to believe. So remember how I also tell you, like, when you go through and read the Bible, take everything that you have learned while you've been in a church or wherever you learn, whatever you learn in whatever religion you're in, take it and just sit it on the shelf. Everybody's interpretation, all your interpretations from your pastors, that anything that's come from pulpit, teachings, media, take it and just set it aside for a moment and go through and start reading it with a fresh mind, only talking to y'all. Y'all help me understand, help me to see the truth as you have laid it out, right? That's exactly what he's saying about all this stuff. Everything that they taught you, oh, and this is everything about JC, just for a moment, right? So you can clear the garbage, you can get everybody else's voice, everybody else's interpretation out, because a lot of the stuff that we repeat is not even our own words. We're repeating words that other people have programmed into us by constantly repeating it to us, and we've chosen to take it and make it our own, right? Living like the pagans, right? The ignorant forest dwellers, the laity, the common people. Don't do that. We don't want to do that anymore, right? Okay. Try to be objective and not filter the facts through previous programming you've chosen to believe. Understand that you have been programmed to a greater extent than you realize. No one alive today is responsible for all the pagan behavior we see all around us. There are dozens of excuses for maintaining the status quo, but once the truth is available to the average person, hiding behind lies invented by men long dead is pointless. The distortions of truth occurred because pagan religious practices became mixed into it, and the bride or the wife of the Creator was attacked along with the covenant. A marriage. The Inquisition burned and tortured millions of people to death for just having come in contact with only a tiny speck of truth. The true roots of our faith are Hebraic and are based on Torah, our Hebrew roots. The roots or our faith aren't Greek or Roman, they are Hebrew. The Mashiach is the mediator of the covenant, which is the Torah written in our heart, right? So right here, the mediator between the covenant, just like Moses was, right? But we are not to worship. We're not to worship Moses, none of the prophets, any mediators, people who come to bring you the truth. The point is to point you back to Yah, right? Not worship them. And that's what he's saying. Anytime he says Mashiach, he's just using him as teacher, somebody like what we're doing here, while I'm bringing you truth. Y'all don't come to worship me. I'm telling you, the Yahuah says this. Go, Yahuah is the one you worship. Yahuah is the one we worship, the one we serve. I'm just like you, brethren, right? We're family. This is daddy. Here's where we go, right? Okay. The roots or our faith aren't Greek or Roman. They are Hebrew. The Mashiach is the mediator of the covenant, which is the Torah written in our hearts. If we turn to the left or to the right, we must listen to the voice of our teacher who is saying, this is the way, walk in it. The Torah is the narrow way, and few people find it. He who answers before listening, that is his folly and his shame. Proverbs 18:13. In this book, you will discover the true origins of many cherished customs. They originate from Babylonia sun worship, cleverly developing into Christianity over many centuries of darkness. They are the strong delusion, a lie. Witchcraft is openly practiced. And it has a question here. Depart from me, you who work A, Torah, or B, lawlessness, right? And so if you have the book, you will see right here in this little black thing. And he'll constantly do this throughout the book, kind of like asking you questions so you can think, right? He's trying to get your attention, get the juices flowing in your own brain. So we know that the answer here is B, lawlessness. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness, or those of you without the Torah. Fabrico, we got a Brazilian in the house. Shalom, shalom. Okay. All right. Fertility symbols are everywhere. Wreaths, branches, bowls, and trees have been used by pagans as emblems of fertility, used to decorate during the winter solstice, thought of as the rebirth of the sun. The tree was an Asherah altar representing the phallus or testicles, balls, and semen, the tinsel. So when you see the Christmas tree, right, that represents the male penis. You got the ornaments, the balls that you hang on a tree, the ornaments that represents the testicles of the male, and the tinsel, that stuff that get everywhere. You got to get the back and clean it. It's everywhere. You stop getting tinsel, right? That represents the semen. I'm telling y'all, we're gonna get into some stuff that they done had us practice. It's going to make you throw up over and over again. Like you will not believe some of the things we have been practicing in ignorance, because it's been passed down as family traditions and religious traditions. Okay, I read that again. Oh, it'll tell us what the wreath represents. Oh yeah, I'm gonna just read it over. You go into the wreath too, and that circle piece of tree stuff that's all together that you hang on your door. We just talked about the male, right? The Christmas tree represents the penis. The wreath represents the vagina. I'm gonna just read it again. So y'all stick with me. If y'all ain't get the book, get the book. Wreaths, branches, boughs, and trees had been used by pagans as emblems of fertility, used to decorate during the winter solstice, thought of as the rebirth of the sun. Right here has S-U-N, but you will see as we go on through the different religions, every religion has a father, a mother, and a son, just as it does in Christianity. It takes the same pagan practices, and they're practicing it, right? The tree was an Asherah altar representing the phallus, testicle balls, and semen, the tinsel. The wreath represents the female genitalia after giving birth. In Babylonian mythology, Nimrod had died and become the sun, worshipped as Baal, the Lord. Other cultures imitated this with other names such as Marduk, Mithras, Moloch, Ahura, Mazda, Gat, Aton, and Dagon. Later, the tree became the Canaanites' image of Asherah and was carried into the nations by the 10 scattered tribes of Yisrael or Israel, the Sumerians. They're literally everywhere. The scariest day in all history is ahead, the day the earth is harvested by the reapers. See Joel chapter 2. Where did this come from? Where did what come from, Dana? Put it down there and I'll come back and look. The first thing that will go through your mind when you see the fire consume the people around you, you may say, why didn't I do more to reach them with the truth so this may not have happened to them? See 2 Peter 3:7, Zechariah 14, Matthew 3:12. This is what Yahuah Sebawoti says. In those days, 10 men from all languages and nations will take firm hold on one Yehudi by the hem, of his robe and say, let us go with you, because we have heard that Elohim is with you, or that Yahuah is with you. That's Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23. So it's talking about our days as we see things happening and Yahuah waking us up, and people realizing who the real children of Israel are, the descendants of Jacob, the sons and daughters who have been made slaves of all the nations. There's only one group of people that have been made the slaves of all the nations of the world. That is our people, right? Even there was somebody I was talking to yesterday, and I'm not sure. I want to say now that it's YouTube. I violated, so I got to be careful, y'all, so I don't get my channel shut down. But as I start saying some of this, I'm like, oh, okay, I might have violated something. And I realized, this big thing that came out about anti-Semitism with the Jewish people over in Israel, and they trying to get these laws passed so you can't say anything against them. But we're like, okay, that's a bunch of hogwash. But we get it, right? So the whole world, the United States, is helping to pass laws, so there's not like anti-Semitism committed against them. But how we as true Semites or true Shemitic people, the descendants who come from Shem, how can we be anti-Semitic against people who have stolen our identity, right? But that's the big secret of the entire world. Because the U.S. and the Vatican, all that, they help create that state. So they have to help uphold that lie. That's why we have to all stand with Israel, right? They get the world, they continue to steep them in this lie to uphold the lie. And now make sure you don't speak against God's people. You bless God's people. Those that bless God's people, God will bless. But y'all blessing the wrong people, right? So y'all actually sending money to those who actually worship Satan. Remember the book that I showed you yesterday? One of their own people that say a lot of Jewish people will not confess this out loud, but the God we truly worship is Satan, right? Look, y'all just got to read that. Go read that. That's from their own people saying that a very well-recognized and respected person in the Jewish community said that, right? Harold Rosenthal. He said that. That's what they do, right? But we know that. But we, in these days, as we begin to uncover the truth and teach the truth, about who Yahuah is and who the true people are, Yahuah is going to start waking people up, even different people from the different nations, right? And they said they're going to grab a hold to the hem of our clothing. We've heard Yahuah is with you. We're going with you. Where did the tree decor originate from? It was all back in there, Dana. They just kind of, as the days go on, this more modern, they create different type of ornaments and stuff. But they were doing this back in the day. They had the trees and they decorate them with the balls and a tinsel. It represents the reproduction. You get what I'm saying. But yeah, that's where they came from. But today is just more stuff you can add. They make it designer and stuff and make it look nice and pretty and catching to the eyes. But all this originated back here, right? Okay. This is what Yahuah say about Woti says. In those days, which is our days, 10 men from all languages and nations will take firm hold of one Yehudi or one Hebrew by the hem of his robe and say, let us go with you, because we have heard that Elohim or Yahuah is with you. And when you see Elohim here, it's the appropriate pronunciation of Elohim, because there was no E in the Hebrew language, right? It's A's, right? From Rome. Yeah, everything originates from Rome or Babylon. All this is the same. It's the same nation of people. Rome, Babylon. It just changes names throughout the decades. But yeah, you can say from Rome from Babylon, and it kind of go back. You can just trace the names, but it's still the same group of people. Okay. Joel chapter 2 describes the reapers as they take the weeds out first. Those who are sealed at the time this takes place will witness the most incredible day in all history. Brothers, children of Abraham, and you Allah-fearing Gentiles, it is to us that this message of salvation has been sent. And that comes from Acts chapter 13, 26. The word of Yahuah was used by translators in place of the word God, God, was used by translators in place of the word Allahim, Allah, Alua, meaning lofty, mighty, upward, or high one. The Arabic language is primarily unaltered Hebrew. Their use of the word Allah is not a name, it is a pronoun. The book of Daniel uses this pronoun often, Aleph, Lamed, Hey, which is Allah. We should be very aware that their Allah is not our Allah because our Allah is love. He is coming soon, and we call on him by the name of Yahusha. Or okay, here's one of them things where if you're coming out to church, you shouldn't get all chopped and screwed like this is the Savior, the Messiah, whoever it is going to be during this generation, or teacher like Moses. That's what it's referring to, right? Which meaning Yahuah is salvation. He is coming soon, and we call on him by the name of Yahusha, or you just say Yahuah. He came as a servant to show us the perfect, narrow way in his behavior, the Torah. At first, this book might enrage all those who follow traditions. By reading a little, you will begin to understand the truth. Everything we see in the traditions practiced by Christianity originates in pagan customs. We will show how they admit this is so. We'll look at the scriptures to see if this is valid behavior. We've inherited our habits and customs from people of long ago, so no one alive is responsible. Sir Winston Churchill once said, most people, sometime in their lives, stumble across truth. Most jump up, brush themselves off, and hurry on about their business as if nothing had happened. This book restores names and other words to their more accurate original sound. Letters in any language are symbols for sounds. Translating the scriptures from Hebrew into Greek, then Latin, German, and English led to a certain loss of meaning as well as the distortion of sounds, phonology. The goal of translating is to find the best words to express the meaning and the context of the original. We say hello, while a Hawaiian says hola for both hello and goodbye. Similarly, shalom is used to say peace and is used as a greeting or to signal departing. Shalom can refer to an ending or completion of something. Fulfilling a contract brings shalom to an obligation or agreement. What do you suppose was the last word Yahusha spoke as he breathed his last breath on the tree? Yahusha did not say tilo, Greek, as most teaching authorities have insisted. He should have exhaled a much more appropriate Hebrew word with his last breath, shalom. He spoke Hebrew, saying the word that meant he had accomplished what he had came for. It was the word completion in Hebrew. Many times an original Hebrew word is transliterated, which means the sound of the original word is carried over using the letters of the target language. This is commonly done when there is no word in the target language that expresses the same idea. Hebrew is the inspired Allahim breathed language. You are reading this book in the English language, but in the Latin alphabet to make the sound for English words. It is possible to use these Latin letters to correctly sound or enunciate and pronounce the names of people or words that are Hebrew. If we use the Hebrew alphabet to write words, most could not read them until they studied the Hebrew alphabet and language. The Greek alphabet is incapable of transliterating the sound of the Mashiach's name, but the Latin alphabet is able to do so. Later, we'll carefully investigate the name. Excuse me. Israel's prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has a Hebrew name that has been properly transliterated in our Latin letters. You are reading them now. In his own ears, he can hear his name perfectly pronounced by people who speak any language. His name also has a meaning, but it would be improper to translate his name since what his name means is not his name. Your name retains the same sound out of the mouth of people of any language. If you make a friend with someone from Taiwan, they will do their best to pronounce your name as closely as they can to accurately address you as you are accustomed to hearing it. Distortions of people's names have occurred, and we will attempt to restore them to their closest originals in this book. Noah was really Noach, having a K sound at the end of it. His son's name, Shem, means name. Noach may have named him this as a reminder of the name of the Creator, which you will discover in this book. The word Semites is derived from Shem's descendants, the people who bear the Creator's name, as referred to at Daniel 9:19. The sh or sh sound was lost because Greek had no such sound. The more correct word is Shemites. We inherited little errors here and there. Wouldn't it be great to be able to hear how the Mashiach's name really sounded? One thing is certain, it wouldn't be a Greek name. Next section is building on truth or lies. Oh, that's right. Your last comment, Aliyah. Speaking of money, the Most High is making them destroy their own kingdoms via China and Russia. Same thing, just like he did. We read through scriptures. When Yahuah, he begins to go clear out a place, he causes the nation to implode and they begin to turn on themselves and they begin to wipe them own selves out. It was very little that Israel really had to do, because Yahuah, he either sent angels and slaughtered them while Israel was sleeping during the night, and they woke up like, wait a minute, can't we kill all these people? Yes, Yahuah fights for us. Or the nations, Yahuah brings a spirit of confusion upon them, and they begin to turn against one another and begin to attack themselves, right? Okay, let's imagine you are building you are 1,000 feet in the air, standing on a high steel framework of a new skyscraper being built. You are supported by each of the steel girders below you and the massive concrete foundation resting on the bedrock of the earth. Your primary concern at this point is your safety. The girders above and below you must each be riveted securely to one another. If even one girder is jammed in with no rivets, the whole structure could fall at any moment. Any girder with no rivets is like a lie, because you have put your trust in it as if it were the truth. The only way to know if each girder is true is to closely examine each one. To appear to be part of the structure is not enough in itself, because you place your trust in every girder below you, believing they are true. And he actually shows a picture of the structure. If you don't have the book, I'm going to try and show it. So it's like a steel structure being built, and you have to check at each place where it joins, making sure everything is tightly secured, right? Because it just can't have the appearance of looking together. Because once you begin climbing it or standing on it, you will be able to feel the weight beneath you, whether it's secure or it's not. So you can look at something and it can look all together and beautiful. But once you begin to test the strength and the foundation of it, if it begins to shake, oh, Houston, we have a problem, right? Nobody wants to be that high in the air on a structure that is faulty, right? And you got brakes and inferior links and screws and stuff holding this foundation together, right? And that's what Christianity is. This book will shake, inspect, and test some frameworks for lies. Hey guys, calm down. If you are on a firm foundation and a framework built on 100% truth, you will dwell in safety. If this book can show you some girders that have no rivets, exposing deceptions as the lies they really are, then you would be wise to reevaluate remaining where you are. For with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 18. It would be senseless to defend the safety of a building you knew had missing or no rivets, and it would be extremely hazardous to remain there. You would warn anyone who would even went near it. Why? Because of love. Your concern for others can become even greater than self-preservation, placing the needs of others above your own. Think about it. If you say, "Ah, baby, don't go over there," no, it's a hole right over there. I almost tripped myself. I'm trying to tell everybody until we can get something around here to keep people from going. I'm gonna stand right here. Baby, don't let your children play over there. That's a hazard, right? We see this. We can just look in everyday normal life. Y'all wasn't here, but I was here to see this. That thing is loose. Don't try and climb that. Don't let your kids play on that, baby. No. Hey, man, don't go over there. You see what I'm saying? That's exactly what he's saying here. And that those of us that are coming out of the lie is like, hey, y'all, look, y'all might want to go check this out because it's the same thing, right? Look, your concern for others can become even greater than self-preservation, placing the needs of others above your own. Lies are poison, and truth is like fire. It tests and purifies it tests the purity of metals and it refines them. A serpent's venom has poisoned the whole world by causing them to drink tradition rather than truth. This book is intended to inform you and make you aware, and when you become aware, you will mourn. This book has angered many people. Eventually, they woke up and have written a call to say how they appreciated being awake. Okay, I don't know that I necessarily agree with this, but I'm going to replace this. I'm going to replace Yahushua just for the sake, make sure nobody gets confused. Yahuah is the one who has revealed his redemption plan, right? So, because I know right here, Yahushua means Yahuah is salvation. I don't want to get people tripped up with that. So, as we find some things that need to be updated, if we know the truth, we're going to update it as we read. So, we know Yahuah alone is the one who has revealed his redemption plan. And all those, the prophets whom he sent, they will also reveal, give you that same plan that Yahuah has said. We're not going to deviate to the left or the right, but we're going to tell you what the Most High has said, right? Okay. Appointed times, signals, shadows of things coming. Even the stork in the sky. Hey, guys, I need y'all to calm down. I'm still alive. Even the stork in the sky knows her appointed times, and a turtle dove and a swallow and a thrush observe in the time of their coming. But my people do not know the ordinance of Yahuah. And that's found in Jeremiah 8 and 7. The people had stopped observing the appointed times, or Moedim, and instead they observed the festivals of the Gentiles. That's in Jeremiah chapter 7 through chapter 10. Seek Yahuah, all you humble of the land, you who do what he commands. Seek righteousness, seek humility. Perhaps you will be sheltered on the day of Yahuah's anger. And that's in Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 3. The renewed covenant. I like this because he gets it right. The renewed covenant. Well, some people say that the renewed covenant is JC coming to die for your sins. Yep, that is wrong. Yahuah never said that. Listen. The renewed covenant. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit in you and move you to follow my decrees and be careful to keep my laws. That's Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 26 through 27. Book hypothesis. Due to compromise, syncretism, ignorance, confusion, and the intentional deceit of humanity by fallen spatial beings, Babel's mythological culture, the reign of the beast, has assimilated into the lives of every person on earth. Unknowingly, humanity has embraced ancient Babel's customs of Mazarah, worship, fertility, and child sacrifice. The customs were reinvented to have different meanings. Like different people are looking for the mark of the beast to come, and like coming days, they don't realize those days have been here, right? And you can tell who has taken the mark of the beast. Like people are looking for like this number. No, who you worship is the mark either of Yahuah or of the beast. If you're worshiping anybody but Yahuah alone, you are by default worshiping and you have taken the mark of the beast. Now, that won't necessarily send you to hell right off, but when your eyes have been opened to what the truth is, oh shoot, like the mark of the beast has been here, right? And a lot of people have been tricked into worshiping Satan, right? The whole world has been led astray. And they wonder after the beast, right? Even in Christianity, by default, you guys are actually worshiping Satan, right? All the world wonders after the beast. You are worshiping Satan by default. Although they have you believe one thing, like, oh, God, yeah. But what they have you doing by default, your actions, your belief, by default, you have taken the mark of the beast, and you are by default and ignorantly worshiping Satan. That's why we do our best to scream out loud, return to Yahuah alone, worship him alone. When you worship him alone and keep his feast, that's what sets you apart, and that's what seals you. Because when things begin to happen, you will see destruction pass over you. They will see the seal of Yahuah on you by your lifestyle and worshiping him alone, and thereby destruction has to back away from you and your household, right? I'm telling you what I know, right? So, but everybody, what'd you say? I don't know why wearing popped up. Wearing in the back. I think I know what you're saying, but yes, please repeat it for those wearing way in the back seats. Oh, okay. But yeah, so a lot of people, if you look at a lot of stuff that's being put, a lot of people doing videos of the mark of the beast and taking this and the jab and all this. I'm like, no, y'all still ain't got it. Y'all still ain't got it. We are in the beast system. We were born into this beast system, right? And it's just now that as our captivity was over, Yahuah is awakening us to what's really been going on. And now we can choose either to stay sealed by the beast or stay sealed, have the mark of the beast. We can choose to stay sealed by the mark of the beast or choose to step out of that system, and now we take Yahuah's mark and he's sealed by us, right? So what will send you to a terrible end is deciding to keep the mark of the beast, right? You ain't got to worry about being sealed, because if you're not worshiping Yahuah alone, you already sealed by them. You already got the beast mark, people. You already got the beast mark. But it's your choice now to either get rid of the beast mark by turning to Yahuah alone, or, just, y'all get it. Okay. Unknowingly, humanity has embraced ancient Babel's customs of Mazaroth worship, fertility, and child sacrifice. The customs were reinvented to have different meanings. By occulting or hiding the meanings, the scheme of an ancient spatial being is successfully tricking and misdirecting people to serve him. Paganism is so prevalent in every culture, there is no doubt it was deceitfully placed into our traditions, disguised in new meanings. This camouflage paganism pollutes and rots the spiritual condition of all mankind. A little flock has always held on to the true faith delivered to those set apart. Here in the last days, the final message, or Besorah, is going out to all the ends of the earth. This book is written to help the reader experience the perspective of their creator and see the goal and purpose of our lives is love. The mind of the flesh is set on pleasure, possessions, and position. The flesh is selfish, but love is selfless. Love, the most powerful force in the universe, will save your life. Love created you to become loving. Let me see. Where we at? We're at 1 hour and 13 minutes. Okay, so I want to read this next section. A beastly image. Does this book discuss the 72 names of God? I have a book that does. But this it doesn't. It goes into a couple, but not all 72. I do have one that does, but that one I don't know that people are quite ready for, especially those that come right out the church, because there's some other things that it began to explain in there, like those who are of age or who can. I'll give it to you, but you don't have to ask me for it specifically. That one, we can't do that one out loud yet, because that you can't give a baby meat, especially if it ain't got teeth yet, right? You will kill that baby. So But no, to answer your question, Kenneth, this one doesn't. It goes over a few, but not all 72. In the writings of Daniel 2, a metal image of a man is used to illustrate the kingdoms of the earth over time. The purity of the metals and their successive devaluation over time is significant. The head, beginning of gold, represents the first kingdom on earth, Babel. It's the beast, which is an idiom for the reign of Babel. Let me read that again. In the writings of Daniel chapter 2, a metal image of a man is used to illustrate the kingdoms of the earth over time. The purity of the metals and their successive devaluation over time is significant. The head or beginning of gold represents the first kingdom, on earth, which is Babel. It's the beast, which is an idiom for the reign of Babel. Next, we find the chest and the arms of silver, the belly of bronze, legs of iron, and feet composed of a mixture of iron and clay. The clay can represent people ruling themselves, as we see in a democracy or mob rule, or a combination with a rule of law, as in a republic. Clearly, this is what we in today, right? The whole image of the beast, from head to toe, is man's attempt to rule over himself. The dragon is ruling in the reigns of mankind. This dragon is the power behind the beast, the reign of Babel, and gives authority and power to anyone obeying the dragon's teaching authority. The four avatars of the beast are the same entity. All of these reigns will perish at Yahuah's return. Our Creator is coming to restore the earth and set up his reign over us here on the earth based on his perfect order, the covenant of love. Babel is fallen, never to rise again. The 10 Commandments is the everlasting covenant, and they teach us how to love. It is not our task to repair man's faulty kingdoms, fight over them, or argue about their inadequacies. Conquering, killing, dividing, overpowering, controlling, these are not the things we do, but they are the things which men trying to rule themselves do.
No, not sitting with me and George on my iPad.
Okay, you'll get it in a minute when I'm done. Lies and false motives control the masses or the laity through the clergy and civil governments. We are called out of the kingdoms of men because they are ruled by a spiritual enemy called a dragon, a serpent. We serve another master. All the world is under the teaching authority of the dragon. We don't want to be found participating in traditions based on practices originating in Babel, the head of the beast. Our rabbi from Nazareth came to deliver the message of his kingdom. Repent, for the reign or the kingdom of Yahuah draws near. Repent means turn back, turn around, or return. Yahusha was saying shub in his Hebrew tongue, not the Latin word repent. Today, people ask, what is your religion? The word religion is Latin. Re means to go back, start again, return. Chill.
I have to make this cool.
Okay. Ligare, or Ligare, is the second part, meaning to bind, related to the word ligament, which binds our bones together. The Latin word religion carries the idea that something became unfastened. Man and his creator became unfastened. By tradition, lies have become mixed with truth, and we will uncover, expose, or reveal to you some of the things we have inherited from Babel. They have become fossilized into our customs. In time, when you have digested everything, there will be emotional trauma as you proceed. The truth will suffer no harm as the lies become apparent. Deprogramming is needed. A tree is identified by its fruit. A good tree bears good fruit. The fruit we should show is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. This fruit reflects the character of our Creator and His children that walk, live, perform, work, behave in His teachings, His commandments of love. They go against no law. The reason you will be enabled to receive and understand this information is because you have been called out of the man-made kingdoms. What this book contains is based on scripture. Truth is what science, or to know, seeks to discover, and it is reality, not religion. Let me see. We're at 119, but it's Saturday. Okay, so I'll read up till we get to the key of knowledge, the name, right? Thinking about what Kenneth said. So we'll go through that. Okay. Tradition, religion, or truth, reality. To know truth is far superior to a belief in a theory. We can believe someone that We can believe someone that has risen from the dead. Hold on. Listen. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Oh, so I should say this. I'm gonna read this like it says. Although, based on what we know now, I can see how he's using this to teach the point, right? So, but also we know if we look in some other places and we do research, when certain people teach this about the Mashiach or what the Christian church teaches about somebody coming to die for your sins, right? Other places will teach you, especially you will hear it like from teachings from people in Africa and Kenya. What they're saying was that a person didn't. Let me make sure I'm explaining this right, y'all. Y'all stick with me. They said what that is teaching you in the New Testament is actually symbolic of a physical thing happening, not that the person truly died and rose from the dead. But the dead that they rose from was the sleepness, like how we had been asleep until truth came. Now we have risen from the dead, right? So that's how it's being taught in different places where a lot of people think it's just symbolic. So it's a mix of different stuff, right? So, but based on what we know, with Yahuah being the only Savior, he said, I am the only Savior. I know not another. And I listed all them scriptures that he gave us in the Old Testament or the books of the law and the prophets. But I'm going to read this like this is because he's teaching a point. So I just want to make sure we stay on track and we don't get confused, right? Okay. To know truth is far superior to a belief in a theory. We can believe someone that has risen from the dead. The fact that the Mashiach rose from the dead is evidence that what we believe, his word, is true. To ignore the facts leads to blindness. He is the first reborn from the dead and the first fruits of the great harvest to come. He spoke to Adam, Noah, Moses, Daniel, and the creation of the universe. Then it happened the way the writings explained it. It's real, not religion. Tradition is a repetitive habit of lies accepted in place of truth. The word scripture is Latin, scriptum meaning handwriting. Etymology is the study of word origins. The word comes from two Greek words, etumo, or truth, true, and logos, or word. It means true word. If you are a student of etymology, you are an etymologist. The goal is to learn the origin of words, even all the way back to the confusion of the tongues at Babel. We know the whole world was originally speaking one language. The Creator spoke with Adam and many others before the flood. All his children spoke his language rather than him adapting to theirs. He's been with us through all history, and all the prophets spoke and wrote in his language. Etymology, the study of word origins, help us trace languages. This book will water your Hebrew roots. Get ready for it. The Hebrew word amen, A-M-A-N, means truly, usually pronounced amen. Amath means truth, and later became the Greek word etumo. A related Hebrew word, amunah, A-M-U-N-A-H, means firm, faithful, steadfast, and fidelity. Amunah is most commonly translated faith, which really means belief in action. Amuna's root, amen or amen, means truly. The Siddiq or righteous shall live by his Amuna, faith, or the righteous shall live by his faith, which is found in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. It means we act on what we believe, perfecting our belief. This book's purpose is to expose the origins of everyday beliefs, customs, and rituals that have become camouflaged in new meanings. Common activities performed today have passed down from ancient pagan cultures and are often claimed to be secular, yet are perfectly preserved religious witchcraft or nature worship such as Halloween. Myths, paganism, superstition, belief in magic, and ignorance were tolerated over the past 19 plus centuries in order for our political and religious ancestors to maintain control over their teaching authority. Resistance against their authority was met with the most severe prejudice, extermination. The model all mankind is intended to live by was abandoned and outlawed. Our modern traditions could easily have been based on what is true, but instead, pagan syncretism is used to mix error with truth, poisoning hearts. The truth is the Ten Commandments. The fusion of lies and truth overwhelmed our ancestors, so we have inherited the lies and futility. In the day of distress, the nations will admit this. Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 19. The conspiracy is organized. Secret brotherhoods have passed much of this knowledge down through the centuries, never allowing the common people to access it. It would cause disruption and loss of their control. These illuminated men, the adepts, would often speak to one another in Latin, meaning hidden, in order to keep their secrets safe. Because Latin is a dead language, the meaning of the words never change. The earth is ruled by man-made domains, focused into three main groups: ecclesiastical, political, mercantile, and the consuming public. These domains are controlled by a highly organized spiritual realm, which is principalities and powers in the heavenlies. The media is the fourth estate, controlled by the first two, with the pagans or the illiterate masses at the bottom. These domains are the world order, imprinted on every nation. The internet is allowing information and communication to pass more freely between individuals, but all things still remain under the control of a fallen spatial being called Shaitan or Satan, who oversees many masquerading angels of light. At Yahuwah's coming, the dragon will be taken out of the way and the world order or the beast annihilated. Yahuwah's coming will be the linchpin of all history. There is so much paganism designed into the cultures of the world. It is utterly amazing that it could have gone on for so long without more men standing up to it before now. Many of those who did were exterminated by the dragon's beast order. This book is written in obedience to Ephesians 5:6-11. The nobility or governing powers are commonly used to exterminate threats to the authority of religious establishment or the clergy. The reading of scripture by laity was banned in 1229 CE because they would perceive how the authorities were not teaching the truth, right? CE means common error or common error as an ERA, in parentheses he has, or common error, ERROR. The understanding of this message will bring sheer terror, wrote a prophet called Isaiah, more accurately Yashayahu, at Isaiah chapter 28, verse 19. The message or the Basora means message. The message or Basora is repent, for the reign of Yahuwah draws near, right? Yahuwah coming down with us to reign, right? Forever. The ones in control are terrified. They want their reign to continue. While the Torah of the Creator was taught, the vineyard or mankind was green, growing, and fruitful and peaceful because the living waters provided life to the soil. The Torah or commandments produce peace. And those of us who have actually gone back to begin to keep Yahuwah's law, statutes, and his commandments, totally ignoring what the church teaches us, oh, it's been done away with, this person has fulfilled it all, we realize there's another whole level of peace that sets in over our lives. Like, it's not even a way that we can begin to explain it to you unless you have tried it yourself. That's why I say it's something that must be experienced. You have to begin to do it in order for your eyes to be open and actually to see it, right? So, but those that take that next step by actually stepping out of the box, where they say you don't do that, so we all under grace now, you ain't got to do that. No, the letter of the law has been fulfilled over here. You ain't got to do that no more. If you constantly listen to what they say and you never go step in to test it, your eyes will not be open. You will stay under the spell of the beast system. They will continue to have a hold on you, right? While the Torah of the Creator was taught, the vineyard or mankind, where Yahuwah's vineyard, was green and growing and fruitful or peaceful because the living waters provided life to the soil. The Torah or commandments produce peace. By removing the living waters, the vineyard becomes dry, withers, and the dead branches will be burned up. The living waters and living words are Torah, Yahuwah's instruction. The last section we're going to read is a smaller section. It's called The Key of Knowledge, the name, and it's on page 12. Okay. A key of knowledge has been withheld from the people, the personal name of the Creator. Remember, we talked about it all the time in all your Bibles, unless you get one that restores his name. It even tells you in the preface and in the introduction that they have removed the original name of Yahuwah and they replaced it with general terms. And some of these general terms are actually identifiers of pagan deities that they worship, right? And Yahuwah said that we should never let those names come across our lips. So we restore the name to the scriptures. Even if we still have a Bible that has the general terms, when we read it, we remove them general terms and we add his name back in, right? Okay. A key of knowledge has been withheld from the people, the personal name of the Creator. My name is Yahuwah forever. When the bridegroom returns, those unwise virgins who think they will have a place in the household of Yahuwah will be turned away, having insufficient oil in their lamps or in their hearts. Our lamp is our inner vessel, storing our thoughts and decisions. The apostles knew the way, and so can you. It's narrow, straight, and very easy to follow the path because it's written down in the best-selling textbook in the history of the world, Scripture. The purpose of the everlasting covenant is to teach all men how to love. Men have struggled to corrupt it, ignore it, and trick people out of obeying it. The first woman was told by the father of lies, you shall certainly not die, for ignoring Yahuwah's word. The liar is now leading millions to just believe. The liar is now leading millions to just believe and disobey Torah. They say it's not for you. Like what they teach, all you got to do is believe. You ain't got to worry about doing none of that. You just believe, right? As long as you know you believe, you'll be good. But they're keeping you from the part that brings the power of peace to your life and to your household, the actual doing and keeping of Yahuwah's commands, right? The first woman was told by the father of lies, you shall certainly not die, for ignoring, and he got in parentheses, for ignoring Yahuwah's word. The liar is now leading millions of people to just believe and disobey the Torah. They say it's not for you. The deception is working. Even demons believe. Our rabbi, Yahusha, lives by the living words of the Torah. He is the one who gave Yahuah is the one who gave the Torah to us. The term rabbi has come to mean my teacher and is transliterated 17 times in the Nazarene writings. Rab, R-A-B, is a root meaning exalt, lift up. Rabbi means my exalted one. When you read the word teacher or master, the original word was most likely Rabbi, Adonai, or the term Maria. The Hebrew word rabbi is not found in the Tanakh, aka the Old Testament. Learning from drunken merchants, drunken men who fleece the sheep, the message of the reign of Yahuah sounds like do and do, rule on rule, a little here, a little there. The message is sealed to them because they have not received the love for the truth. They have not received the love for the Torah. Wisdom. I'm going to repeat that. I was just saying that. Like when you don't go back and actually do it, you can't see the truth. It is sealed to you. It is like a closed book. You will not be able to understand it, especially if you're holding on to the lies. Oh, this is done away with. And people will argue. I was having a conversation back and forth with somebody on YouTube that responded to one of my comments, which YouTube just happened to delete. That's what I was talking about earlier. At first, I was like, dude just deleted the comment. But I was like, wait a minute, dog. No, because how he did. Like, wait a minute. YouTube messing with this. So I tested it. I want to respond it because I copied some of my responses because sometimes they be a little lengthy because I have references and stuff. So I copy it just in case there's a glitch and YouTube shuts off or something, I gotta repaste it. So I pasted under one of my own comments. It was there for a minute and then it was deleted. Now nobody can delete my comments when I start a thread, right? But it was deleted. But my original comment that I had posted and pinned was there. Nothing was wrong with that. But I had some key trigger words inside of my comment like Jew, Jew. Some other things that I realize now are trigger words for YouTube that will get your comment removed by YouTube. Like nobody ain't got to report you. Their algorithm and their word searches will pull out those comments and remove them automatically. And I did it a couple times and I tried it on a few different one of my things. And every time it removed it. Within a matter of 3 minutes, YouTube had removed my comment. So when I respond to some stuff, if I have to use like the word Jew or Jewish, I'm going to spell it a different way. Like if I spell Jew, it's going to be Joo, or Jewish, it'll be Joo-ish. And Israel, the Israel comments too. I'm going to spell Israel different, but I'm going to like put it in parentheses so y'all know that I've changed the spelling to kind of trick the YouTube algorithm so it doesn't delete the comment at all. And I'm gonna do that also on my title so I don't get my videos removed or get strikes held against me and then we be banned and I can't do a live. So I was like, oh shoot, okay, I gotta be smart about this. So be careful, y'all, just in case y'all didn't know that YouTube is not people reporting, it's YouTube itself. They're doing it. They got stuff set up with it'll pinpoint, locate your comment or video within a title, description, and it will automatically remove it, delete it. It will give you a strike. And if it keeps happening, they will delete your channel. We ain't trying to do that. We're trying to be smarter than the average bear, right? So if you notice some of that spelling, just notice what I'm doing. I'm trying to trick the algorithms, right? You right, Aliyah. You right. But we ready. Okay. I'm gonna finish reading this because I only got like a few more sentences for this section, and we'll be done with this reading for the day. Let's see. The Hebrew word rabbi is not found in the Tanakh, aka Old Testament. Learning from drunken merchants or drunken men who fleece the sheep, the message of the reign of Yahuah sounds like do and do, rule on rule, a little here, a little there. So what he's saying is, if somebody's teaching you who shouldn't be teaching the scriptures to you, it sounds like a bunch of, you can do this and you can't do this. You can do this, but you can't do that. Don't do this, go do this, this. He rules, you don't rule. She rules, you don't rule. Nope, you can't do this. Nope, you can't do that. Right? He said it sounds like a bunch of drunken merchants trying to teach you principles. And that's exactly what it sounds like, right? When somebody that shouldn't be teaching you the words of Yahuah starts trying to teach it and give you their own interpretation, right? Okay. The Hebrew word rabbi is not found in the Tanakh, aka the Old Testament. Learning from drunken merchants, drunken men who fleece the sheep, the message of the reign of Yahuah sounds like do and do, rule on rule, a little here, a little there. The message is sealed to them because they have not received a love for the truth. They have not received a love for the Torah or wisdom. For you, this whole vision is nothing but words sealed in a scroll. Isaiah 29:11. These people come near to me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. Their worship of me is made up only of rules taught by men. Isaiah 29:13. Now let's find out which parts are man-made and not a part of the eternal kingdom. The reign of Babel will fall at Yahuwah's return. Paul was called a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarene. He was not a member of a sect of Christianity. See Acts 24:5. We are engrafted into Israel. Well, we're Israel. Gentiles are grafted into us and they become a part of us. So remember, when we say some of this stuff, it's a Gentile from the truth Yahuwah has revealed to him and opened his eyes from his perspective. But nevertheless, there's a lot of truth in here that true Israel can learn that has been hidden from us, right? Okay. Paul was called a ringleader of the sect of Nazarene. He was not a member of a sect of Christianity. See Acts 24:5. We are engrafted into Israel, or they are grafted into us. See Ephesians 2:8-13, Romans 11. You will not see me again until you say Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Matthew 23:39, Psalms 118:26. Nazarene are suddenly saying this today, right? And a lot of stuff that we see them say in the New Testament, it actually originates in the Old, and you can find the corresponding, but I would say original verse that they're using in the New Testament back in the Old, right? So I thought he did a really good job with a lot of this, or with attaching the Old Testament scriptures where it originated in a lot of places. Okay. All right. I said I was going to stop here for today. All right. That comment is true, but it's funny too, Aliyah. Okay, y'all. So that's what where we stopped today. We're at the hour and 41 minutes, and tomorrow we'll pick this back up with the doctrines of demons. Right? So it's just gonna get better and better, like it always does. So we'll pause right here. We read the first 12 pages. Well, take off 2 pages because 2 pages are the table of contents, which we read probably about a week ago. So we read up to page 12 today. So mark your spot. If you got your book, we'll pick it back up here tomorrow. All right, y'all. So with that being said, it is Saturday, May the 1st, 2021, day 142 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. And of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 811. We read First Chronicles 8, 9, and 10. And today was our first day reading Fossilized Customs, pages all the way up to page 12. All right, y'all. So tomorrow, like I said, we'll pick it back up. So let's go ahead and go over here and do the blessing. If anybody got any questions or anything, you can go ahead and type them in. It's just not moving. Oh. And I'll come back and double check real quick once we do the blessing. Remember, the blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. Remember, the first 21 verses is the Nazirite vow. Man or woman can take the Nazirite vow. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people, let's double check. Dan, I like how you spelled Jew. Yeah, you got to trick their bots and algorithms. They searching for us now. They trying to keep hold. They trying to keep hold of their reign as long as they possibly can. And I noticed. Look, I noticed the last week while responding to some people's stuff, because they're asking questions about this, and my response with some of the knowledge I know. At first, I'm just like, man, these people, they what they ask the question for if they're just gonna go delete my comment, right? So I'm thinking, oh, they ain't want to be showed up in knowledge. Not that it's a thing like I know more than you, but because I haven't, they asked the question, I'm responding to them when I put it in there. I'll go back and look at it a little bit later, see if they responded back to me, and the comment is deleted. And at first, I was just thinking, okay, well, they just deleted my comment. They ain't want to hear it. They stuck and steeped in a religion. But no, I found out it's YouTube deleting my comments. And like I said yesterday, I actually tested it. So I'm like, surely this is YouTube deleting the comments. So, but yeah, y'all. So. Hope y'all enjoyed the reading today. I don't think anybody left any questions over here just while we was chatting all the way through. All right. So thanks for the new people who showed up today. We'll be back here tomorrow. Yeah, you're right. Yes, sis, be careful with how you respond because they're looking for every excuse to shut the truth down, as if the Most High can't make the rocks speak or the trees bring his truth. I know, right? Look, have I considered a podcast by any chance? People keep asking me that. I have considered it, but I just gotta. Sometimes, look, I have considered. I even actually thought about it again yesterday as we started doing this. The whole setup and everything. Like, I actually have the stuff for it. I just gotta set it up. But I want it to be, granted, YouTube videos, okay, my kids in the background and stuff, and it the way I do it now with the family coming in, interrupting and stuff, people can see that it's not like a whole production and stuff, and people more apt to stay and listen when they see real life happening around me. Oh, she's a real person. I ain't going to edit my videos, and it's live. So whatever happens here live, it's done live. And so I thought about it. Doing the podcast would have to be the same way. Anchor app is easy for podcasts. I'm gonna check into it, Dana. But yeah, I really was, while I was going through some of my electronic equipment, I'm like, I get all this equipment for if I ain't gonna use it. I'm like, oh Father, I just, because I be thinking about this. And some people have left comments, and I just, okay, because some people, they like to listen to stuff and not have a bunch of interruptions. Some people, they have no truth about themselves, or this would be good if we didn't hear your kids talking all loud in the background. And I'll delete those type. I will. I'm gonna tell you, you leave a comment like that, I'm gonna go delete it because it get me hot and sweating under my armpits, and I'll be ready to fight. So yeah, I may love y'all, but don't start with me, bro, and don't say nothing about my kids, right? So I'll go delete those comments, but I think about that, and I don't want to start, because you know how sometimes people leave a comment, and other people that's also distracted, they'll come, oh yeah, they was pretty loud, and now you got a whole conversation that's going off on the side, and he's talking about my kids, and I'm looking for people addresses, trying to find out where you live at, right? And I don't want to do that, So, but I have considered that, and I understand some things we have no control over, and people are just going to do those things, So I try to minimize distractions as much as possible with the background I have, and how I'm doing it. But I did hear they don't want to see the claws come out, right? And don't let my husband get wind of it, because he way worse than me. They said, what? Like, he was ready to fight a little boy the other day because some little kid told Isaiah, he like jumped at Isaiah, and Isaiah took off running. He's like, boy, what you run? You better not run. And here come Josh and Saya over there. Isaiah pointing them out. That's him right there. And my husband right behind him, ready to fight. I'm like, y'all don't leave that little 5-year-old boy alone, So, but finally, the little boy, when he saw James coming, he straightened himself up real good. He said, y'all want some oranges? And he said, instead of talking junk, his little sister hyped him up. So they saw his brothers come running and James right behind them, right? And his sister was running over there because apparently she thought that her little brother and my 6-year-old son Isaiah was about to fight. And this little, I'm gonna be nice, this little child had her cell phone out. They Israel, they look like us, small black kids. They're like, I'm gonna get on from here with that garbage, right? So here she come running with her cell phone, talking about something, ooh, and James, he's like, oh, no, so he up there and he ain't running, but he can cover some ground with his long strides and stuff. But when they saw him, he said, little girl, if you don't get out of here with that phone, he said, where your parents at? And she did like that, and the little boy was like, y'all want some oranges? Like they changed their whole whatever it was they thought they was about to do, right? So I'm just like, oh, Father, look, listen here. So, but I do all these things. I think about, but yes, getting back to the question, I have considered it. Quite a few people have asked me about it. But I just want to make sure I'm sticking to what Yahuah has said, right? And I don't really have a pressing need or inkling to actually do it right now. But I believe I will have it set up. I just want to make sure everything is good. And especially also, I tested some of the stuff, the equipment, like with the mic I had. And I stopped using the mic up here. I was testing the equipment little by little, but the mic, when I would go back and watch the YouTube videos, it still sound kind of cracky. But I figured that might be because I didn't use the headphones that apparently you're supposed to use with it, which I have upstairs in my little kit with all my stuff. I'm like, because you know how people, you see them doing podcasts and they have on the headphones along with the mic and the little sound booth. I got all that stuff, but I realized why they have it, because it cuts out all that cracking and that background noise and stuff. And I was just thinking, I was just thinking about it in another way. I don't really want to wear the headphones, not really that it would interfere with the head wrap, because they won't. I tested it, but I don't know. I think I was looking at it the wrong way. Oh, she trying to get like them. She wearing headphones, and I was just, my mind wasn't in the right place, So, but I'm looking at all of it and I'm understanding why that equipment is needed, so the sound can come through clear. And especially if you're doing a podcast, it cuts out all that cracking and that extra background noise. So that stuff is actually really needed. And when you don't see them with the big headphones on connected to all this stuff, they still have on a mic, but it's either here or they may have like wired ones coming down here, but I've always checked, but they always have on the mic. So I got to go through. We probably will do it, but I don't want to do it separate. I need to have it all being done at the same time, like the Facebook, YouTube, and the podcast all being done simultaneously. So I need to figure out how to do that when I'm not creating extra work for myself, to where it just can be an easy setup and just do the start and let's go, and everything is running. So yeah, I'm considering it, asking y'all, okay, when, so, but yeah, that was the answer to your question. I know that was a bit long, but yeah. Chrissy said, I love to hear Bella's voice in the morning. She gives me such a big smile. I really love you here on Facebook, but whatever you choose, I'm with you on your readings. Well, thank you, Chrissy. Yeah, I'll still do it on both places. I'm trying to be smart and not get myself banned, right? So I got to be careful. I got to be watchful of the different words and make sure I'm not violating the YouTube community rules and stuff, to keep myself here. And I think I will also, if you have mic, you can likely edit out the background noise if you have multiple audio channels. Yeah, I would be able to. So, but yeah, and I forgot what I was just saying. Yeah, but I'm done. I ain't really got nothing else to say, y'all. The soundproof. But send me the link, all of y'all, or post it down here in the comment section. You may not be able to post it in here in the live chat, but on today's video, who you talking about, post it in the comment section so I can check it out. But yeah, y'all, so I'll let y'all know when we do. All right, so but with that being said, y'all, that's it. I ain't got nothing else. We're knocking on the 2-hour mark today, so go on, get out of here. I'm getting out here in the garden today. Get some seeds down in the ground. If y'all not gardening, if y'all ain't got no seeds in the ground, get them in the ground. We in Bay. So, but okay, y'all. All right, that's it. I love y'all. I see y'all back here in the morning, bright and early, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm gonna post this couple things that I said I was gonna post in the comments section. If y'all said y'all was gonna share something with me, post it down in the comments section, not in the live chat, because it won't really show. Oh, it was Issachar that did it. Okay, yeah, I know them. Oh, I would definitely have to check back in their videos a while back. Okay, yeah, but I like that they got a nice little setup. They do. The Issachar couple is the husband and the wife. They got a really good setup on this. I'm gonna have to check into this. Okay, y'all, but that's it. I'm out of here. Peace.